So yesterday we did a Transformer Slag podcast Patreon listener question. We were talking about the differences between the Beast Wars vintage reissues from Walmart and the originals, and a little bit of discussion about, would certain figures be possible to be done as reissues in this line. And there was a lot of back and forth, and then a lot of serious discussion was happening behind the scenes. Let's put it that way. Of the future of this line and potential releases. People know who's in the chats when we do the live streams from Hasbro and stuff like that. And so we're going to have a discussion here today. We're going to have a discussion of what potentially we could have in the future from this line. Now, it's going to be within a bubble, though. I know a lot of people are going to go, hey, I want my Transmetals, I want my Fusors, I want my Transmetal 2s. We're pretty much going to stay within the bubble of between 1995 and 1997, the pre-Transmetal Fusor era of 1998 of Beast Wars. So pretty much all that, I guess we'll call it the brown card, I guess is the best way to put it. But there's going to be some interesting stuff along with this discussion. So we're going to go through it year by year of Beast Wars. We're going to break down, take out what we've gotten, the potential of other stuff and everything like that, and what potentially could happen. So shall we? And again, I want to have your opinions of what you want within that bubble. I don't want to see Transmetals in the comments. I want to see from within the bubble of what we're discussing right now. So when we start with the first year of Beast Wars, we're talking 1995, the Rocky Bubble era, that limited run of figures that came out at the tail end of 95 while G2 was still languishing on the shelf. Some, a couple of GoBots, a little bit of laser cycles. And you have essentially the Optimus Primal Croc Megatron 2-pack that was original MSRP of $9.99. You had that first run of basic figures, which were $4.99 each, of Rat Trap, Razor Beast, Iguanus, and Pterosaur. And then you had that first run of deluxe classes at an MSRP of $9.99 of Cheetor, the Blue Eye edition, Dinobot, Waspinator, and Tarantulas. So the question is, already looking at this, there's already some stuff that we've taken off the board here. Cheetor has already come out. Now, granted, it's not an original Blue Eye edition, but Cheetor has come out, so that's already off the table. Rat Trap has already come out. We just recently got Iguanus and Pterosaur, so those guys are out of the equation. But it leaves us with the 2-pack. It leaves us with Dinobot, Waspinator, Tarantulas, and Razor Beast. Now, Tarantulas has been rumored to be a future product in the reissue line, so we could almost kind of remove that from the board too here. But would any of these be interesting to people? Would people want a Waspinator or a Dinobot? Some people could argue, well, we already had a toy Dinobot that was done, and do we need like a toy Dinobot of the actual product too, because we had the Buzzworthy Bumblebee repaint? Well, I would argue, like, look what they did with Pterosaur. We got a Pterosaur show colors, we got a Pterosaur toy colors, and then we got this reissue here, all within a very short span of time. So I think that there's really no rules with that. Same thing, Waspinator had his Kingdom toy, but when by the time this reissue comes out, it'll already be a good distance from when that toy was on shelves. We're not in a Kingdom world anymore. We're in Legacy, going into Legacy Evolution. So would that interest people? Would they want Razor Beast? Would they want that 2-pack? Would that 2-pack have to be released with a comic book? There's a lot of questions to kind of ask there. Would people want the Croc Megatron? They recently did one through the Rescue Bots. Actually, it was called the Heroes Collection, whatever, through Rescue Bots. But would any of those interest people? I'm kind of curious about that. When you move into the next year, now we go into 1996, the line is a little more fleshed out, and it's crazy when you look at this was everything we got in 1996 for Transformers. I mean, talk about the humble days of when Transformers was just building back up in the Kenner era. And that's where we got our Ultra classes for the first time. We got Optimus Primal and T-Rex Megatron, MSRP $19.99 back then. We had the basic class that had the MSRP still of $4.99, and this time we had Armadillo. We had Snapper, and we had Insecticon. And then, of course, the deluxes. We had a Red Eye Cheetor this time, now with the new round bubble. Look at all the bubbles now. They're not the Rocky bubble anymore. And the more kind of muted, not as detailed card back. We had Rhinox, we had Wolffang, we had Tigatron, starting now with the repaints. We had Black Arachnia again, the repaints, and Buzzsaw, again, the repaints, and our Mega Class also making its debut in Polarclaw and Scorponok. Now, who do we take off the board right away there? Well, obviously, Optimus Primal and Megatron are two Ultra classes have already been done, so those are gone. We already got Cheetor, again, in another shape or form, so the Red Eye version, we're taking that off the board too. We recently got Wolffang and Tigatron, so they're gone. And we got a Scorponok. Granted, it was done in the Japanese colors, but let's take it off too, because I doubt they're going to want to do it again in the black color scheme. Not to mention they've already done the Buzzworthy. There's so much that's been done. To reissue a reissue would be kind of silly. So that leaves us with, again, some interesting players in the game here. Polarclaw being one of them especially. You know, would you like to see a reissue of that Polarclaw figure? A lot of people just want a brand new Polarclaw figure. I mean, he was featured in that Kingdom poster art. Wouldn't it be cool to get a brand new Polarclaw? Characters like Black Arachnia in her toy form, we already got that through Buzzworthy. Would you want the original Black Arachnia toy? Would that be something that'd be interesting to them? We already got through the Legacy Walmart exclusive deluxe line, we got a Buzzsaw. Would that be something interesting to get the original? Rhinox, his original toy, would that be interesting to people? Now that we already got a Rhinox really through Kingdom and they didn't really do much with it since. Or any of those basics, Insecticon, Snapper, Armadillo, anything that's appealing to people there. Also in that year in 96, there's a lot of oddball stuff that kind of bubbled up. You have those McDonald's items. Nothing could be done with those. Hasbro doesn't have the rights to those molds, so those molds can't be reissued. But potentially maybe those characters could be repainted and homaged at some point, but it won't be done in the reissue line. It'll probably be something else. So we got to put those off the table completely, along with Under 3, the Lionhead. But then when we look at something like the BotCon exclusive that year of Onyx Primal, if we get a Optimus Primal Bat repaint, along with, let's say, the Croc Megatron as the, well, at the time it was called Albino Gator. We didn't really have a full name for it, but it was a white Gator Megatron. Maybe we could get another 2-pack out of that, because Hasbro could probably do something cool with that. We've had past BotCon exclusives done as retail products through different repaints, like the Sandstorm being one of the more recent examples. But it would be cool maybe if we get an Onyx Primal reissue, a reissue of Onyx Primal in the modern era. That'd be pretty interesting. That'd be pretty controversial almost for a BotCon reissue to get, a BotCon exclusive to get reissued. But that'd be very interesting to see, just something to put out there on the table. Then we go into 97. This is when Beast Wars was at its peak. They were really kicking it. I mean, they put out a ton of product that year. Machine Wars also happened at that same parallel at the same time. There was a lot going on. And this is where we get the Ultra Class. We talked about it yesterday, the Ultra Class Combiners. So now we have at the same MSRP of normal Ultra Classes of $19.99, but now we got Magnaboss and Tripredacus. We got the Mega Classes of Inferno, Baboom, and Transketo. And then we got a slew of new characters in the basic class at $4.99 of Air Razor, Clawjaw, Snarl, Razor Claw, Drillbit, Laserbeak. I always remember it had the O on that one. What do you call it? Spitor and Power Pinch, you know, those guys, all these unique cats, all these unique characters. And then on the deluxes, you know, on the deluxes we had Cyber Shark, we had Bone Crusher, we had that Grimlock, which is a GPS nightmare. We had K9, we had Green Eye Cheetor this time, we had Jetstorm, we had Maniterror, and we had Retrax. So again, there's stuff that we have to take off the board because Cyber Shark got reissued, K9 got reissued, Retrax got reissued, and we're taking off the Green Eye Cheetor because we already have, yet again, a Green Eye Cheetor. Imagine, they sold Cheetor every single year. He was our Bumblebee back then. So, but it leaves a lot left over in 97 to pull from. I mean, number one for me, I feel like let's get a reissue of that Grimlock. You know, let's have a reissue of that Grimlock without the GPS involved. We already had the Buzzworthy version. But that'd be pretty cool if we could have, like, you know, like we had a Kingdom version. It would be cool to have the original reissued and it wouldn't be fragile. Some of those basics are awesome. I mean, the Snarl is a great figure. The Clawjaw is a great figure. I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff there. Even Spitor is a good one too. So there's a lot of different things you could pull from. Of the Mega Class, I mean, I think it's boom or bust in my opinion. I think the original Inferno, unless they change the plastic on it, it's going to have the same problems of the clear plastic over time. And Transketo was historically a big shelf warmer along with Inferno, because just wasn't really a good toy in my opinion. And then, of course, like we said yesterday, people would probably love to have updated plastic versions of both Magnaboss and Tripredacus, obviously getting rid of the GPS in the Magnaboss and the clear plastic in the Tripredacus, and make it a really good affordable product, because those new ones, those originals, go for pretty decent money today in complete condition. So, I mean, let me know what you would think from 97. What would be there? And then again, the oddballs that came out in 97 that Hasbro could potentially do stuff with. You have those Microverse playsets. Those were Kenner-created Microverse playsets. Is there any interest in that? Would people like little Microverse playsets, you know, of Orkanok and Arachnid? Be a good excuse for Hasbro to get that Arachnid trademark up and running again. You know, would that be something that interests them? Would they like maybe the Bakhan stuff? You know, like again, in 1997, you had the Bakhan 2-pack of Fractal and Pack-Rat. Those are trademarks they could use. Those are colors they could use. Those are molds that are out there. Wouldn't it be crazy if they did a reissue 2-pack of this? That would be nuts. That would completely destroy the market, but hey, people would be able to engage with those characters in their original molds. And then here's an interesting one. In that same year, on the Japanese side of things, we had our very first kind of Japanese exclusive through Beast Wars, which was Shadow Panther, debuted in 97. So we already got a Tigatron that was done in his Japanese colors. Instead of getting the cream version that we got in America, they decided when they did our Tigatron reissue, it came in the Japanese colors, the more vibrant white. Same thing with Scorponok. They did the more Japanese kind of feel colors instead. And what's stopping them for, you know, taking that original Tigatron box art, replicating it on a classic, you know, vintage, you know, Beast Wars packaging, which would be kind of radical when you think about it, and then putting that black repaint in there? I think a lot of people would probably dig that. And they have the Shadow Panther trademark literally right now because of Kingdom. So it's something that it could be a potential. It could be something there. But let me know what you think, because this is the bubble that we're talking about. This is what the reissue line is really been focusing on. Some boys have been taken off of the board right now, but a lot haven't. So let me know, what of this would you like to see reissued? What would catch your eye? What would make you go, I'd buy that. I'd buy that at the new MSRP. Let me know what you think. It's just something I just kind of wanted to put out there for reasons. But, you know, let me know what you think. I have my choices, but I own all of this, so it's not really too big a deal. It's more, it would be more just to keep it on card. Like that, if we had a Shadow Panther done in that classic, you know, retail American card back, that'd be the coolest thing ever in my opinion. But that's just me. It's kind of like when I bought the Optimus, the G1 Optimus without the trailer, and it came in that mini packaging. That kind of spoke to me. But let me know what you think. Fascinating stuff. And hopefully we'll learn some answers in the near future.